All right. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. So when I first heard about Ethan, I talked to Julie, and his parents had said that they had pretty much given up on everything else. This was like their last resort, and that he was failing in school, refused to do homework, had tried studying, and that nothing really worked, and that they were going to do like a trial period for a couple weeks, and that if I didn't think he was working hard or was committed to trying it, giving his best effort, that they were going to stop. So, and I knew he didn't want to be here. He came in, it was very obvious he didn't want to be here, didn't even want to look at me in the face, really, and just was very withdrawn, seemed kind of just like depressed about where his life was at in general. But we got talking, we had some common interests, hunting and different things. I could relate to him on different levels with humor and with sports and stuff like that. He liked to talk about his truck and things, so we got talking about that kind of stuff, and then I kind of talked to him about his goals in life and what he really wanted to do, and he wanted to be in the military. Had thought a little bit about college, but just thought it wasn't an option really, and so he'd kind of given up on that idea as well. It was tough going at the beginning. He was very quick to shut down and tell me something was impossible, and that it wasn't really worth trying, or just kind of laugh. I would tell him the rules for some game and what we were going to have to do, and he's like, yeah, no. He would just say no before we even started, and kind of just roll his eyes or throw his head back, different things. But once we really got going and he learned that he was supposed to fail when he tried things, and that he really couldn't figure out the right way to do something until he had failed a few times, then he really started to realize that this was totally different than anything he'd done before. And so he started to find that he had some success with a lot of speed activities, and that he noticed some things at home with his memory improving. It still took me, I think, almost a month and a half to get him to give me his first improvement, which was by far the longest I've ever had for a student. But the day that he actually did, I completely freaked out and celebrated and like announced it to the room and everything. So it was awesome. I honestly don't remember what the exact improvement was, because it didn't matter to me what the improvement was. It was just that he saw something in himself that he could tell me that was improving.
Yeah.
And so that was huge. I really think it was he was remembering numbers better. Like, he had seen somebody's license plate number at school, and he remembered that it was his friend's car or something like that. He got better with numbers. I remember something about that.
So towards when you got towards the end of the program, how different was he?
Really, the thing that kind of spelled it out for me was his dad told me that he had his son back.
Wow.
Which was, I know, it was one of the biggest things I'd ever heard, was like he had his son back. Like, he was more social at home. He would sit in the living room and talk to them, whereas before he would just go straight to his room, get on his computer, not talk to anybody, maybe call his friends or something. But I think some of that was because he was so bummed out about his grades and just knowing that he was failing, letting everyone down all the time. He was pretty happy to tell them that he was doing better at things and that he was on top of stuff. He started to do homework. He started to come in and have improvements already thought of. And the biggest thing, he got taken off accommodations at school, which was the first time since 4th grade. And he was, I think, 17 at the time. So that was really big. He didn't think it was that big a deal. He was just like, oh, whatever. A lot of people don't have accommodations. And like, it was a huge deal. His parents were ecstatic. I was ecstatic. We really became friends, and he would talk to me about all kinds of stuff outside of school, other goals that he had that were related to school and actually finishing it so he could do what he wanted to do in life. And
What do you know what his plans are now?
I know, let's say a month and a half ago, his dad texted me that they went to look at colleges, which he said he thought that this day would never happen. So that was pretty exciting to hear that. I know that he was passing all of his classes, and he had mostly A's and B's, and the biggest thing ever was that he got a C in physics. And physics before he just gave up completely.
Wow.
He was getting an A in sign language, which was his second time taking it, and he just told me that at the beginning he told me, I'm not going to try. He's like, I'll get some of the stuff right just from doing it before, but I'm not going to try. They can't make me do sign language. I was like, well, they kind of can. If you want to graduate, you have to have your language credit. So he kind of resigned himself to know that he had to do it. And it's something I told him all the time. You do what you have to do so that you can do what you want to do in life. And by the end, I think he really started to get that, and that this is just the way it is with a lot of things. And so he totally turned a corner.
Yeah. All right. Great.